This is former TNA World Champion Raven, and you're listening to TNA Cross the Line podcast. Quote the Raven, nevermore. And don't cross the line. Or do cross the line. I'm not really sure if you're supposed to, you're not supposed to. I don't know. Whatever. You get it.
TNA Wrestling. Cross the line.
And we're back with episode 205 of the TNA Cross the Line podcast. I am Bob Colling Jr. and with me as always is Dallas Gridley. In Dallas, we are coming off of Turning Point. That was our latest episode, I believe. And at that show, we had quite a bit going on. It was a good show, even though I kind of forgot we did it, but I've been sick, so you got to give me some leeway here. We have a new number one contender for the NWA World Heavyweight Championship, and it's our boy Captain Charisma, Christian Cage, coming out of that event. We also have a new X Division champion, Samoa Joe. He won the title. And then in the third installment of the trilogy, Jeff Jarrett retained over Rhino. And we have a whole bunch of other stuff coming out of that show that we're going to touch on, but that's really the main stuff.
Well, there's a big one that you're missing, Bob, and we were going to discuss it a pretty decent amount here. Just kick us off.
What am I missing?
At the end of the main event, the lights went out. They turned back on, and in the middle of the ring, there was a chair with a baseball bat, a pair of boots.
Yeah, that doesn't count.
And a trench coat.
Yeah, doesn't count. So, yeah, that's a fair thing to mention there is that somebody went into the ring when the lights were off, set up a chair, put a jacket and boots there, and then left, and the lights went back on. And then we're supposed to believe that Sting magically is taunting Jeff Jarrett with his gear. I don't know. Doesn't make any sense to me, but
I think he was there and he ran in and he did that. And then he slipped himself under the ring quick. That
would make almost no sense. Zero.
Yeah, so we're actually going to talk about that a decent amount before we even get into our pay-per-view talk, which there's some pretty interesting stuff in there as well.
If you tell me in your notes that Sting hasn't signed and they've done that, I'll freak out.
Well, we do have a history of not signing people before announcing things.
Yes.
I mean, do you remember when they said China was coming and then she did not? That's like the one that sticks out the most to me.
Yeah, she didn't show up. Yeah.
Hulk Hogan. We announced
the China one sticks out to you more than Hogan?
I forgot about the Hogan one because I feel like that was the Hogan one is I think probably worse because they literally show all the videos of Jarrett like attacking him in Japan and they're like Hogan is coming, and then it was just like, okay, and then we just like he's not coming, so we're just gonna keep showing the video of Jarrett attacking him anyways.
And they teased it like twice.
Mm-hmm. I just remember them being wicked pumped. Joni is coming, the former China, and then it was just like nothing. There's nothing. At least the Hogan one, they kept like saying stuff about. Yeah. I'm sure there was more. I can't remember off the top of my head.
And you know what, though? Technically, they do come.
Right. I mean, they didn't really lie. They were just about 15 years ahead of themselves.
That's just long-term booking.
I mean, it's true. But yeah, regardless, it was a pretty good show. I believe we both gave it a thumbs up. So I say let's get into this. Let's hear what the Dave Meltzer thought in the Wrestling Observer newsletter. And before that, Bob, do you think that the readers agreed with us? Did they give it a thumbs up, a thumbs down, or a thumbs in the middle?
They're going to give it a thumbs up.
Yeah, and it's by a lot. 82.6% gave it a thumbs up. 0 gave it a thumbs down. And 17.4% were in the middle. So if you want your numbers here, 37 people were in the middle and 181 voted thumbs up. And once again, 0 were thumbs down.
181. Wow, that's a pretty big response.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
I mean, back when we had weekly pay-per-views when there was like 7.
Yeah, there's a couple times it was like nearly nothing.
Yeah. 6 people said thumbs up.
To the point where I can't believe he continued doing the voting. But I think he does it with all pay-per-views, so it makes sense.
Yeah.
What about the best match on the show? I know we didn't run down the card, but I know you probably have it in front of you. And we're going to talk about it anyways. But
I'm going to say Styles and Joe.
Yeah, so 218 people voted that as their favorite match. And Dave notes, every single response we got listed this match as the best, one of the few times in history of our polls that something like this has happened. So there wasn't even a second one. What about the worst match?
All right, this is a toss-up between 2. And I'm trying to figure out if Dale Torborg would return to the ring and be voted the worst match. Because Saban and Dud are in it, but For Life Crew and Team Canada. But there was the turn by Conan, so then maybe people would like that. So I'm going to say the worst match was Torborg's.
Well, that was actually third. So, believe it or not, the worst voted match was Raven versus Chris K.
What? No.
I disagree. I also disagree, but it's by a decent amount.
What?
In second place was the For Life Crew and Team Canada match. Then it's the Diamonds in the Rough versus Dut Saban and Torborg. And then finally in fourth place was Jarrett versus Rhino.
Okay, no way. Chris K and Raven was not even on my radar.
I know. I knew that was going to throw you off there because
that's fucking bizarre.
Yeah, it's a weird one. But needless to say, that's where we're at with that. Okay, let's get into the notes. So we're gonna, like I said, we're gonna talk about the stinger first, and then we'll kind of dive into the matches with our brief chat about all of them as we always do, and the star ratings, which I think is kind of fun this time around. So TNA has made the highest priced acquisition in the history of the company when it signed Sting to come out of what was basically a nearly 5-year retirement as a full-time performer. Now, the signing took place this week, believed to be a 1-year contract, with Spike TV kicking in a significant part of the mid-6-figure deal. It is believed Spike set a precedent by kicking in money for Ken Shamrock and Tito Ortiz to appear on The Ultimate Fighter 3 this spring, helping with getting Ortiz back in the fold, who theoretically would build the brand equity of their original programming as well as ratings. In addition, preliminary discussions have started for a wrestler who would be an even bigger mainstream name but would not be working full-time. So they pitched in the money here, Bob, because they pitched in money for Shamrock and Ortiz on The Ultimate Fighter. So that is how Spike kind of started pitching in money for contracts for TNA, it seems, which I think is really interesting.
For Tito and Ken to be on Ultimate Fighter?
Yeah, so Spike helped with that. So they set the precedent here to help with the, once again, mid-6-figure deal for Sting for a 1-year contract.
So mid-6 would mean, what, $500,000?
$500,000. And we will talk about that number again, probably today and also next week. There's some notes that relate to that. But anyways, Dave says there's no question that bringing Sting in for a short program would be a plus, just the curiosity value. Sting has made
a short program. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. In hindsight, dude, this is so funny to me. It's so funny. Sting has made half a dozen or more appearances over the years for TNA, which in his mind were repaying a favor to Jerry Jarrett for giving him a start in wrestling. However, by the time that TNA finally got on television with FSN, Sting felt that he had repaid the debt and was no longer interested. And we've heard that quite a bit. Now, he also notes how every year, generally a few months before WrestleMania, WWE and Sting would talk. And at one point, they were even close to a deal. And in the end, for whatever reason, it never happened. Sting was adamant that he didn't want a full-time schedule, Plus, for WWE, Sting is better in small doses, maybe working 2 months out of the year to build to a pay-per-view match here and there. So, of course, Sting does not go there for a long, long, long time. And then he does, and he gets hurt. So, anyway.
He doesn't go there for, 20 years?
It's fucking crazy. That's so fucking crazy, dude. Like, what in the world? What are we doing?
Yeah.
What is happening? There have been talks with Steve Borden and TNA dating back several months, Dave notes. There has been a lot of talk that TNA has the match quality to be a major player here, but it doesn't have the star power. Now, TNA, as we know, has attempted over the past year with names like Kevin Nash, Scott Hall, and Diamond Dallas Page to use past 40 stars of their glory period of WCW as a way to introduce fans to the product. The feeling in all cases was that they were more short-term. It's hard to say what they meant, although pay-per-view buys were higher when they were on the shows. But there were a lot of factors that played into that. Now the question remains, after 2 months, where will Sting fit in? The way the angle is scheduled to play out is that after a few weeks of teases, he will be announced right after midnight on New Year's Eve on the Spike TV special. If you're wondering what that is, we're going to talk about it, the Spike TV special, during this show. But New Year's Eve falls on a Saturday night, and TNA, well, I guess we're talking about it right now. I didn't know, I forgot that it was this part here, but we'll talk about it more too. So New Year's Eve falls on a Saturday night, and TNA is going to be running an 8 p.m. primetime show, which will be designed to promote the Best of UFC 2005 special from 9 p.m. to midnight, as well as celebrating a countdown to New Year's with TNA with the big announcement, as well as some other things, which I don't want to spoil, but like they're promoting like the first match of 2006. So this is all kind of happening on a special that we're taping here. The storyline will be that due to contractual issues, the big surprise that will change the face of wrestling in 2006 can't be announced until the new year, so that TNA is getting a special time slot at midnight for the announcement. I have a feeling we're going to hear that over the next couple shows that we are watching here, but just so you have an idea, that's what we're kind of working with. The obvious problem with Sting is, according to Dave, because of his salary and star power, he's going to be pushed as the top star of the promotion. But TNA has to be able to get people like AJ Styles and Samoa Joe over as mainstream stars to help really make it. So he really talks about, and he kind of goes into depth more about how do we keep our TNA stars, in a good place while also working Sting into the mix. So it's pretty interesting. Now, during the week, TNA's website announced the tease for Sting as something that would change the face of wrestling that would be announced at the pay-per-view. When the Jarrett vs. Rhino main event ended, when Jarrett keeping the title, the lights went out, the Scorpion image flashed, and there were chants of Sting, even when the lights were out, as the rumors had already gotten out 2 days before the announcement. And fans did actually expect Sting to be there, even though Dave says that they reported that he was not going to be there. And of course, as we already discussed, there's a chair with a black trench coat, wrestling boots, and a black baseball bat. There, anyways. The bad news was that after the show went off the air, the fans started chanting, "What a ripoff," because he wasn't there live. So, anyways. And he also says, which is funny because, Bob, you kind of agree with this kind of thing, saying that his signing would change the face of wrestling came off to me as overplaying their hand. This is also the second straight pay-per-view that was sold on a mystery surprise that never mentioned ahead of time on television because Genesis had Christian Cage.
Right.
It's so interesting. Yeah.
Okay, so a couple of things here. If they're gonna reveal Sting as being a part of TNA at the New Year, dropping the ball and here's the big bump, whatever type of bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's kind of comical that their announcement would be the signing of a 46-year-old wrestler. That's going to change the landscape of professional.
It's changing his face, dude.
Yeah, I don't know. And I kind of think that I think you can make the argument that Sting coming in diminishes Christian a little bit.
Well, that's kind of like one of those things, right? You just got Christian in, and now we're already gonna be overshadowing that with Sting.
Right. Yeah, they can't.
Like,
they won't
right
let
away.
They won't let anything just breathe.
Yeah, I mean, you
It's
could.
just constant.
I mean, and the AEW was really good at this for there's a couple weeks where it was like constant, huge signings. Remember,
Yeah.
it was like we got Adam Cole and then we got Bryan Danielson like in the same promo, and then like
Oh yeah.
2 weeks before, maybe or yeah, 2 weeks before, it was like CM Punk came back, and it was just like, I mean, I was loving it, but it was just like, holy crap, there's so much going on.
Right.
So yeah.
I probably would have let Christian get a little comfortable.
Yeah.
You know, make a name, make a splash here, and then be like, oh, by the way, Sting's coming in. You know, or
Right.
I don't know. It just seems like it kind of diminishes him a little bit.
And I think that's fair to say.
But also they're saying like Sting coming in will allow, you know, introduce people to the promotion, whatever. I think that any WCW fan that left in 2001 is not coming back in 2006.
Yeah, it's kind of a long ways away
For
to try to get
Sting.
someone back.
Yeah, I think they've detached. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
I didn't realize he was 46 at this point because his birthday isn't until March. Yeah, March.
Yeah,
12th.
it's so funny to look back on it, dude. Because it was like, okay, he was retired, he was done, and it is now in real time 2023, and now he's officially announced in 2024 is his actual last match. He's going to be done. So
Is in February, right?
in February.
There's no. I'm telling you right now, Sting will wrestle again.
You think?
Yeah, and it should be Sting and Flair at Wembley.
Okay. I'm gonna keep reading notes here.
I'm just saying,
You're insane.
As the main event, Flair, Sting, Wembley.
In the main event. Okay. So the other big story
Not the main
regarding
event, but it should just be like on the show.
you would roll your eyes if they announced that.
Oh, absolutely. But I'm saying that's what they should do. And it should be both of their last matches in front of 80,000 people. And then
It would be kind of cool. Can we get Hogan?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what he would do. Maybe he'll form a new NWO or something. I don't know. But
he can be the ref.
Yeah, okay. He's not getting down there to count with 3. Are you kidding me? He'll be hoping for a submission. Yeah, so because it eats Flair alive that his like last match was in front of like 2,500 people, like live audience wise, or however many it was, 3,000, 5,000, whatever.
That's a good show though. I didn't say the main event was good. I said the show was good.
Because it has Impact guys on it. We know, we get it.
Did you watch it?
I don't know. I've not, but
you should watch it.
Yeah, great. Can't wait to watch.
Motor City Machine Guns versus the American Wolves. Yep.
Yeah, saw that before.
Seen that before.
CW show.
Yeah, and it was just as good.
Yawn.
Okay. Anyways, back to TNA 2006 here. The other big story regarding Turning Point show was TNA getting its most mainstream publicity in its history with an angle put together by Mike Tenay that brought AJ Praninsky of the World Series champion Chicago White Sox in for 2 appearances. Now, this got TNA covered ahead of time on CNN Headline News, ESPN's Cold Pizza 2, on 2 ESPN talk shows throughout the Chicago media, as well as nice coverage in both USA Today and perhaps the biggest coup in the scoreboard section of Sports Illustrated. Tenay came up with the idea, apparently, when an ESPN announcer called Praninsky the phenomenal AJ Praninsky. Tenay came up with the idea of having him appear at the show, or at a show, simply to meet AJ Styles and exchange gifts, and it kind of grew from there. Particularly since Praninsky, coincidentally enough, was a big wrestling fan. Now, Tenay, who is a big baseball fan, knows both White Sox owner Eddie Einhorn and minor league strength coach Dale Torborg, who obviously is the Kiss Demon in WCW, so of course he knows him. He was able to put it together as the first in a series of cross-promotional ideas between TNA and the White Sox, with a few more ideas floated around for next season. Now, it ended up being very controversial internally, with the belief that it was going to be an embarrassing flop by many, including those in creative. TNA also used his longtime friendship with Bobby Heenan as a safety valve, knowing that if the live crowd in Orlando might crap on the angle, but it was guaranteed to get a good pop live if it was done in conjunction with Heenan's debut with the promotion. Nobody expected the angle to help ratings or add buys to pay-per-view, but simply garner publicity so that people would know that TNA exists. A big part of the success was due to TNA's recent hiring of Ross Foreman, whose name sounds very familiar to current-day Impact fans, because he still works there, to handle publicity, who is from Chicago and had strong enough media contacts in the city and nationally to get the story placed in many key places.
So they did this knowing that it wouldn't draw money?
Yeah. They did it hoping that it would get their name out, and it did.
Right. But that's kind of a major issue here, is that if you're hoping it gets your
It's a
name
risk.
out there, well, hang on a minute. So you're hoping that it gets your name out there, right, with publicity, but you know it's not going to draw money. So publicity and drawing money, you're getting the publicity, but you're basically saying also, well, we know no one's going to come and watch us because of this.
Yeah, fair.
So what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, I mean, it's fair. I think...
You know, I don't know. A non-wrestling fan watching SportsCenter, seeing AJ Brzezinski, they're not going to be like, "No, what? Oh, yeah, let me go watch."
Well, that's
that.
the thing.
No.
You have to already like wrestling in order to like care about that stuff.
Yeah.
And as a wrestling fan who doesn't really watch sports, like I don't care about the other part, but they were right because Heenan's there, and now I'm paying attention because Bobby Heenan's in wrestling again. You know what I mean? So it's like,
because you're not gonna get a
it's not gonna. No, you're not gonna.
A non-wrestling fan. That ability to a conversion is just not.
It doesn't work. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
Another couple follow-ups to this whole thing. AJ Praninsky had an interview on the Chicago White Sox website. He says, "I was nervous. I'm not gonna lie." And this is talking about the match, being involved in the match. This is their life. I don't want to come in as an outsider and mess it up. So he had some respect for the wrestling world here. And then Simon Diamond was obviously involved with this. And now Dave says that for Diamond in particular, the angle was the highlight of his career. He's a huge baseball fan and a former player in college. Diamond was said to have been blown away by seeing his name in the Sports Illustrated article there. He was not even on the original choice for the angle to play foils to Brzezinski, as it was written, believe it or not, for Scott D'Amore and Team Canada. But they had no interest in doing it and instead went to the company's lowest rated heel group, as Dave says.
Yeah, so I don't see Team Canada fitting in that spot anyway. No.
I think the only thing is that could work is because they're like, they got the jerseys and they're like a team.
Yeah.
Like it makes sense, but I think they made a good call.
If I were to watch Team Canada job out to Dale Torborg, I think I'd have a tough time with it.
Yeah, that'd be tough. Okay, I got one more thing, and then we're going to start breaking down matches here momentarily. But this one really surprised me. I mean, it probably shouldn't have, realistically, but regardless, the other major item here coming out of the pay-per-view was Jeff Hardy no-showing. So I didn't even know this was like a thing that really happened. Hardy, and there's actually a good reason why we didn't know that this happened, because we'll get to what he was supposed to do. Hardy, who has no-showed for the company several times in the past, including once before in a pushed pay-per-view match against Raven, and was even dropped for a few months. The last time he did it was scheduled for an 8-man tag in a pre-show match. So that's why we didn't know, because he was going to be in the pre-show.
Oh my God. Okay.
So the belief is that Hardy is done, at least for now. TNA has historically always taken back people with no-show problems and drug histories. It's still funny to me, this is to Dave, that DDP was never used again because he balked at putting Monty Brown over, but he still ended up putting him over even though he had to diamond cut 2 people that had to have run-ins. I don't blame them for not using him again, but because what's the point? And in the case of Hardy, he never refused to job, but still, what is worse, having to negotiate a finish that the guy did end up doing in the end, and who never missed a shot, or multiple no-shows on pay-per-view and TV tapings. With Hardy, one of the reasons he was brought back was because they wanted to have many familiar faces as possible, when they started on Spike. At this point, they are very low rationalizations for him. Now, nobody knew until 2 hours before the start of the show that Hardy was no-showing, when he called to say he missed the flight. He gave no other explanation. The feeling was that Hardy was mad because he was booked in a pre-show match, but he acted as if he just didn't make the flight. The plan at first was to say goodbye, but Ron Killings, who was supposed to be put in a tag team with Hardy, remember, we heard this months ago, he argued hard for Hardy's job, basically for the fear that he would fall into limbo land as now that his plan Angle is gone. Killings was against the 3 Live Crew breakup, which Bob alluded to, and we will, of course, be discussing more as we kind of move forward here. But so Killings was against this because he thought he'd be the odd man out. Now, at first, there was forces pushing for him to go with Conan, but the booking committee didn't want that, and the basic compromise was for Killings to go with Hardy. Everyone was cool with that because they felt Killings wouldn't be buried because the company is always going to protect Hardy. Well, that's pretty disappointing for Killings at this point. No matter what the reason for this, the pattern of behavior and the fact that Hardy is not only is not the only wrestler they've hired that has no shows on them more than one occasion seems to bring up the drug testing issue again. In an industry where the problems are so documented, to blissfully pretend to be blind to issues that you know full well exist in hardly a way to run a company in the industry with a track record of the past 10 years of U.S. pro wrestling. There's no question that when it comes to poor taste, TNA is so much better than WWE, but in reality, health of wrestlers is a more pressing problem than bad taste angles. So, it looks like Hardy's done, Bob. Jeff Hardy is no more, at least for realistically about 4 years.
Is this when we sing his Modest song? Or?
No, that would be on. We're gonna sing it right now.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Yeah, we'll just put it in post right here. It's like I'm not doing that. Yeah, it's pretty crazy actually. But
no, that's yeah. So he lasted what, about 1.5 years?
Yeah, I guess realistically,
June 2004 to November of 2005.
Well, yeah, and that was, I mean, the June one, he didn't even come back again until September, wasn't it?
September, something like that, yeah.
So, yeah, it's pretty crazy. Well, anyways, on a positive note, Dave knows
what's your favorite Jeff Hardy moment
that we've had in TNA?
Yeah.
I know it's not that ladder match with Jarrett sticks out to me because it was just something that I remember. I know, because he lost though. But like in my head, him getting hit with the guitars like has always been something I think about. What's the other? I mean, I love the lockdown match with Raven, the tables match. I really like that match.
Okay.
That might be like the peak for me, like that. He was in one of Monsters Balls, wasn't he? I can't remember.
Yeah, he was in the Bound for Glory one.
Yeah, the good one. Yeah, that.
Yeah.
Because that's the one where he jumps off the stage to Abyss.
Mm-hmm.
So like that moment I have always remembered. So like between Lockdown and that, like realistically, like those two really stick out to me for his run. If he won that ladder match with Jarrett, man, wow, that would have been. I think that would have been the move, but needless to say.
My favorite one is the temper tantrum.
I knew, dude. I mean, that was pretty good because, like, what are you doing? It's crazy to think, though. So here he he leaves, or at least I should say, I guess he kind of mostly leaves, right? Because then he does like is it the UWF things he does or something?
Yeah, he does UWF for a few months there.
Which is associated with TNA, but it's not TNA.
No. Do you know the lyrics to Modest or no?
I don't think off the top of my head I do, besides the beginning part.
Yeah, that's all I know too, but I have the lyrics in front of me here and I had no idea.
Do you want to do an old Lycopod and sad read like a couple lines?
Yeah, I can do that. Okay, here we go. Modest to the top. Modest at the top. Straight to the top. And then we keep on heading up. Stars shine for why we should give a fuck about what is real and how real is still the only way for us to feel the pain it's sometimes deals in a way that survives the struggles we face in this life. There's a lot times can't erase, showcase the skills you were given at birth. Live your life here for what it's worth. Show off the style you perfect in life. Show off the way to make it right. Make it to the top of Mount Profession. Rule it till you feel there's nothing more for you to do or say. None of you better get in my way. Coming down. If you do, you'll get back on level ground. Modest to the top. Modest at the top. Features that keep your head up high. I am a star that shines for why. We should give a thought to our life in the way that we live both day and night. We are the world's humorous cells. Let's keep laughing to save ourselves. In a way that can read our planet's face. In this life, there's a lot of time can't erase. Showcase the skills you were given at birth. Live your life here for what it's worth. Show off the style you perfect in life. Show off the way to make it right. And then, okay, here's another one.
Oh, there's more. Okay.
Well, because then it's just like chorus or whatever. I'm not gonna keep doing choruses.
Well, we don't have to. Okay, just go ahead.
If you are tired or thirsty at the top, sleep or drink fast to receive the pop, in a way that stands out for the crowd. In this game, there's a lot they won't allow. In a way that survives the struggles we face. In this life, there's a lot of time can't erase. And then showcase, make it to the top, straight to the top, and keep on heading up. Supplies for the body when it breaks down from the booze and chance of disrespect. I am a son with an online neck.
Well, this is very enlightening.
Yeah, so I don't know what any of those words really meant. It felt like that was the Ultimate Warrior trying to produce a song.
Right. Well, anyways,
there you go.
Let's dive into turning point stuff here. Right. So Dave switches this, onto a positive note. The December 11th Turning Point show got generally strong reviews, and early returns indicate a lot more buys than prior month for Genesis. It was, for the most part, a decent pay-per-view show with one extraordinary match. The match where Samoa Joe beat AJ Styles to win the X Division title in the first strong candidate for 2006 Match of the Year.
Now, I'm sorry, it's 2005.
Yes, but the voting probably ends right before this, so it kind of gets carried over. And from what we've been told, from a live perspective, it was the best match TNA ever did in Orlando. Super stiff matches. With this was the stiffest in TNA history. When Styles suffering a busted lip and bleeding badly, and apparently Samoa Joe suffering a dislocated jaw. It didn't translate good on television, as they played live in most cases. So, they got hurt. Styles apparently... So, spoiler alert. I guess it's a spoiler. Both Styles and Joe will be wrestling at the taping that we're about to start watching at some point. Not against each other necessarily, but they both work, so they're not injured enough to not wrestle. However, AJ Styles' injury, he did pull out of the December 17th ROH show in New Jersey. So he came to TNA and then he said, ROH, sorry, I'm hurt.
What was his injury?
Styles had the busted lip, and he was bleeding badly. So he was probably just more beat up than Joe dislocated his jaw, though.
He fucking pulled out because he had a fat lip.
I guess. Joe beat the shit out of him. I don't know. The show drew the usual turn rate crowd of about 900 fans to Universal Studios. Several live sources indicated the crowd was rabid, and the television didn't come close to doing it justice. Reportedly, the crowd was totally on fire for Team 3D versus America's Most Wanted match in particular, which didn't come across, and Joe versus Styles at the crowd at an entirely different level. It was also noted that for the first 15 minutes of Styles versus Joe, the crowd was totally pro-Joe, even though Joe was booked as the heel for the match. The number of fans turned away at the door was said to be one of the largest to date. Our response, which traditionally has been a strong barometer of TNA buy rates, was up 88% from last month, although last month's buy rate was a huge disappointment, and our response was not at the level of Bound for Glory. So, let's get into the matches. In the pre-show, which, did we watch? I don't remember. Did we? We did watch the pre-show, I think, right?
I believe we did, yeah.
I'm pretty sure we did, because I thought I remember seeing this match.
Genesis we did not because of Nigel.
That's right.
We had it for this one.
Yep, I thought so. Okay, so Lance Hoyt and Chase Stevens and Andy Douglas, the Naturals, defeated John Bolin, Joe Doering, and Buck Quartermain in 7 minutes 11 seconds. The original match was for the 8-man tag with Hardy on the face side and Lex Levette on the heel side. So they basically had the same match, but just minus 2 people. Bolin and Doering, I believe, were making their TNA debuts. Bolin won a contest last year for sponsored wrestling training similar to a one-day Tough Enough competition. Hoyt pinned Bolin to take the fall. He does not rate that match. Opening up the pay-per-view, we kind of glossed over this with everything else, but there's a barbed wire massacre match, and Sabu pinned Abyss in 10 minutes 58 seconds. They had the ring surrounded by barbed wire with the ropes taken down. They also had some barbed wire boards and other weapons. These type of matches are usually pretty bad because there isn't much you can do but bleed. But this was better than most because you had 2 men who appear to be without fear. It's not my cup of tea, Dave says, but they did an effective match.
Speaking of not cup of tea, I saw him say that Shane Strickland, right?
And it's Swerve, but yeah.
Swerve Strickland and Adam Page was not his cup of tea, and then proceeded to give it like a 6-star rating.
He gave it 5 stars.
5-star rating.
And he goes on to say that people are taking what he said about it out of context, but I have not read the Observer newsletter, but I don't know what he said about it. But he does basically be like, the short version is like, I don't really like this kind of match, but everyone else does. 5 stars.
Yeah.
But I will tell you, dude, I know you probably haven't seen it. Man, it was really good.
I haven't seen it.
I mean, to be honest, if you're talking like that kind of style, like a Texas death match, that was a 5-star Texas death match. I mean, it was really good.
Yeah, I just love how that guy broke into his house and then beats him.
Yeah. Underdog, man. Hangman's works best as an underdog.
Yeah, the underdogs, can win.
He can win eventually. But right now it's Swerve's time. Anyway.
Swerve's house.
That's right. The finish of that barbed wire massacre saw Abyss charge at Sabu, who moved, and he went into a barbed wire board in the corner. The board was sticking to his clothes, and Sabu tripped Abyss. He fell into another barbed wire board. So basically, he was on the mat sandwiched between 2 barbed wire boards. Sabu did a sitting splash on top of the boards to get the pin. The crowd chanted thank you at both guys when it was over. He rated this 2.5 stars.
Yeah, that seems about right.
Yeah. Austin Aries and Matt Bentley defeated Roderick Strong and Alex Shelley in 8 minutes 3 seconds. The match wasn't at the level you'd expect for these 4, Dave says. It was more than it just being cold match and not having much time, but these guys usually are in cold matches and have delivered on most big shows. 2 stars. I didn't say that finished, but Bentley made the hot tag and finished with the super kick and pin on Strong. Monty Brown did a promo with Bob the Builder doll and called it a Christian doll, his Christian cage doll. Real good stuff, Dave says. Jeff Jarrett came in and told Brown how the championship committee doesn't care what Brown does, as they just bring in these flavor of the month guys from the outside for title shots. Basically, he said that Brown doesn't get it, and he was looking for Brown to help him in the main event, but instead went to Team Canada, who did get it, because he had to go find someone who got it. Next up, this one has some pretty interesting stuff in the notes. Raven pinned Chris K in 5 minutes, 49 seconds. K, of course, was the former Canyon. Larry Zbyszko demanded Raven sign a release form so he could collect the rest of the money due to him on his contract if he were to just go home. Raven refused. In a line of the week, now this is kind of funny because I didn't pick up on this right away, but reading it makes sense. So Raven said to Zbyszko, quote, "You're nothing but the answer to a game show question that nobody ever asked." Mm-hmm. And so Dave says, for those not up to speed, the question would be, who was Bruno Sammartino's opponent in pro wrestling's first $500,000 gate? Now, this, of course, goes back a few months, where Zbyszko was supposed to say, I sold out Shea Stadium, and you've never sold out anything bigger than the dugout in Shea Stadium. But Raven came out early and jumped him before that line ever got out. So this was during, I believe, I can't remember if it was like, if it must have been toward Raven or something, but Zbyszko didn't finish his promo. So they're kind of calling back to that a little bit.
He didn't finish the promo at the pay-per-view?
No, this was the promo. This was a few months ago. So Zbyszko was supposed to say the Shea Stadium. So it's like a funny little callback that Raven made a joke.
Okay.
Yeah. So Dave says this match was actually supposed to be on last month's pay-per-view, but Canyon asked for way more money than they were planning on paying. So instead, they got PJ Polacco at the last minute. So, yeah, funny, huh? Canyon then went to TNA and told them that he'd do the match for exposure for next to nothing.
Oh, my God. Come.
Yeah. So they ended up giving him the spot. Dave says, I believe the other alternative, listen to this, dude, was to debut Billy Kidman. So if Canyon wouldn't do this, they were thinking about having Billy Kidman fight Raven here. That would have been good. I know. But Kidman is on another one of those you can't trust him to show up lists after apparently blowing this Winnipeg show and causing Tori Wilson to rush home from Australia. So who knows, Dave says. Canyon told TNA that they could use his name, but when they asked to change the spelling to Canyon with a C, just in case, they decided to just change his name. So Dave says that his memory seems to indicate that he used the name on the Indies before WCW and thus should be able to use it, even though it isn't his real name. But who knows? Raven powerbombed K on a chair and then got the pin with a DDT. Post-match, Zbyszko demanded Raven sign the release because he wanted him gone. Raven slapped Zbyszko. Keep in mind, Zbyszko has been the heel in this so far, even though Raven is supposed to have been has been turned heel. Even though to me, he's booked as a total face. So see, Dave says he's booked as the face here. So after the slap, it was Zbyszko who made the fiery babyface comeback on Raven, and they had the pull apart. So if you're confused, don't blame me, he says. 1.5 stars.
Yeah, so that's pretty amazing that Canyon at Genesis was like, yo, give me a whole bunch of money. And then they're like, nah. And then he comes back the next month and is like, listen, I'll do it for almost nothing.
Yeah.
That's just great negotiation skills right there.
He tried.
Give me $5 million. No, okay, I'll come back next month. I'll do it for like basically nothing just to get my name out there. It's like, okay, well, we could have.
See, if they started using it more, it might have been worth it, but unfortunately.
No, I mean, that's just not. Man, that's not good.
Yeah. Next up, Team Canada over Petey Williams, Eric Young, and Bobby Roode, and A1. They defeated the 4 Life Crew, which of course is Conan, BG James, Ron Killings, and the new member, Kip James, in 7 minutes, 16 seconds. The usual trademark easy pops and storyline stuff between the serious matches. Eventually, during the match, Conan turned on Kip James and told Roode to pin him, which he did. After the match, Conan also hit BG with the chair, and he tried to figure out what happened. Killings asked Conan if he was going to hit him with the chair, but Conan still wanted to be friends with Killings and wanted Killings to leave with him. So Killings didn't leave with him. Conan and Killings' facials were great during this. If you've been watching consistently, this angle took too long. But for the 75% of the audience that is new, really, they were just 2 months minimum, too fast in doing the return. 1.75 stars. Doing the turn, not return. So for us, Bob, it's been 8 months. At least.
Yeah, dude, it's been.
I mean, they teased it since Kip came in.
Kip came in.
Was that against all
odds?
which is February.
February. He had the tape fist match at Destination X with Nash. That's March.
And so we're in. Okay, so it's been about 10 months.
Yeah, because really, around then.
Well, we're finally getting to the good part of it. So it took a while, but
yeah, no, that's
I sort of wish that they.
overdue.
I sort of wish they did the 4 Life Crew thing a little bit sooner, because I just think that that's hilarious. But the fact that they did it and then just a few weeks later did the turn was just as good. So actually, it was about a month later, really. I mean, because they did it just after Genesis.
Yeah.
But anyway, next up, Dale Torborg, Sanjay Dutt, Chris Sabin, managed by AJ Praninsky, defeated Simon Diamond, Elix Skipper, and David Young in 7 minutes 58 seconds. Bobby Heenan came out as a guest announcer, and he immediately asked Mike Tenay for $5. Which is funny. For the finish, Johnny Damon gave Praninsky home plate, and he hit Diamond over the head with it as Heenan got up from his announcing chair and distracted the ref. Diamond was staggered. Sabin used the cradle shock on Diamond, followed by Dutt using the Hindu press, and Dutt got the pin. Praninsky then autographed the home plate for Diamond. After the match, Sabin and Dutt gave Praninsky and Torborg TNA Championship rings, 2 3/4 stars. Next up, Christian Cage pinned Monty Brown, 12 minutes 38 seconds. The gist of the match is that Christian worked really hard but couldn't or didn't make Brown look like he was at the level, as Brown seemed hesitant and green in spots. I don't know if I really got that, but whatever. After a ref bump, Brown used the Alpha Bomb for a near fall. Brown argued with the ref and was hit with the Unprettier for the pin, 2.5 stars.
Yeah, I think I was because that match was mostly Monty Brown, right? And then Cage just went out of nowhere.
Yep.
I didn't like that. That bugged me.
Yeah. Next up, we had Team 3D defeating the NWA Tag Team Champions, America's Most Wanted, Chris Harris and James Storm. And no, it was not for the titles. It was non-title. 10 minutes, 20 seconds in 2 straight tables in the best of 3 tables. Wait, what? Best of 3 tables non-title match? I don't know if we knew that. Well,
no, we didn't know that.
Although I guess it would have to be best of 3 tables because you have to get each member out. I think that's what he's trying to allude to. You had to get each tag member out. You have to, unless you put them on the same one.
Yeah, but I didn't know that. I didn't know.
Anyways,
two out of three.
It doesn't matter. Team 3D used America's Most Wanted's own death sentence on Storm for the first table. Devon landed right on Storm's face, and it was a bad scene. Storm was left motionless in the ring. Now, surprisingly, they didn't immobilize Storm's neck before helping him out. There was fear of a broken neck, believe it or not, but it turned out to be just a stinger, and he was, spoiler alert, back wrestling at the tapings that we're going to be watching here soon. Team 3D did an interview before the match, and the former Bubba, or Brother Ray here for us, got so hot in a strong promo that he said they were going to give AMW a Dudley's beating. 2 3/4 stars. Samoa Joe won the X Division title over AJ Styles in 18 minutes 45 seconds. This match was so ridiculously stiff that it was reminiscent of the kicks and slaps of a UWFI-style match combined with the big moves of a junior heavyweight pro wrestling match. A must-see match. Styles went for a rolling reverse cradle, but Joe grabbed the trunks to reverse him and grabbed a choke. They teased Styles being right near the ropes but couldn't quite reach it. He then passed out. Crowd was going nuts. Joe teased sportsmanship, but then smashed the belt in the Styles' face. Joe set up doing a muscle buster onto a chair when Christopher Daniels hit the ring and made the save. Daniels beat on Joe for a moment until Joe came back, laid Daniels out as well, with the idea that Daniels was stunned coming off the concussion. There was a lot of talk and complaining by several wrestlers, including Styles and Daniels, who argued that Daniels should have run Joe off in that situation. Since Joe versus Daniels is apparently going to be the next story going, I think it makes sense, right? With him returning. Another idea suggested was that Daniels would beat down on Joe and then get dizzy and woozy, allowing Joe to come back on him, rather than Daniels getting taken out with Joe's offense. The booking committee pretty well insisted this was how it was going to go. I think the idea is that Joe is the monster. He's going to be pushed as the superstar of the division, and it's not a parody deal with Daniels, Styles, and Joe as the same level. Long term, the idea is to go back and rematch the September 11th three-way within the next few pay-per-view shows. He gives this one 4 3/4 stars.
Just give it the 5. I mean, what the fuck?
It was really good. I mean, realistically, probably could have been a 5. I mean, I don't see why it couldn't have been.
Yeah.
But it's all objective, I guess, or subjective. Finally, in the main event, Bob, Jeff Jarrett pinned Rhino after the match, after much outside interference, to retain the NWA title in 17 minutes, 29 seconds. Rhino did a hell of a promo before the match, which Dave says for a guy who has a reputation of not being able to talk, he's done very good the past several weeks. The match had great heat. If you actually watch how Jarrett talks and how he works and what he says, he's very good. The problem is Jeff is that he's part owner and everyone knows it, and so everyone's sick of him. And well, he's just Jeff, and he's missing that ingredient that all the great ones have. Scott D'Amore hit Rhino with a hockey stick, and Jarrett used the stroke off the top rope onto 2 chairs, then got the pin. Hot crowd, very exciting match. The money is Jarrett versus Sting and Christian, so that Jarrett did have to win, so that they could do it right. But it's also wrong, he says. People didn't love to hate this. They hated to hate this, even though it was well done. The lights went out. They did the Sting tease we already talked about, and then it went off the air. He gives this match 3.5 stars. Not bad.
3.5. That seems pretty high.
Yeah. I don't think it was too bad, really, but it's very interesting.
That seems pretty high for them, I guess.
Right. So that was a turning point, Bob. I have one final thing I want to tell you before we get going into today's show, and then we can finally dive right into this. It's kind of a disappointing one, so I'm going to leave you with something sad before we get going.
That's great.
Sometimes it just has to be done. Sonny Siaki released the following statement on his website. Quote, I've been with TNA since the company started about 4 years ago, almost 4 years ago. TNA has offered me another contract, but I decided not to resign. The decision not to resign was a tough one, and the reason behind me not resigning was based on many factors. Many of were beyond my control. Moreover, I have to put my family's well-being into account. While I trained at WCW, it was TNA that made Sonny Siaki a name in this business, and I'm eternally grateful for that. I had a lot of fun in TNA, and I think that they have some of the best talent in the world there. I hope to someday work with some of the guys in the future. I wish TNA nothing but the best of success and prosperity in years to come. And according to Alvarez, he thinks that Dusty Rhodes got him to come to WWE, which don't think is the case here.
So that's kind of weird that the comment in there of like, I gotta look out for my family. Okay, but you're saying no to money.
Yeah, I mean, that's a fair point, but I mean,
so
I'm just doing a quick look ski here.
Do we see him again?
I'm gonna tell you right now.
All right. I need to know.
No.
Okay. Does he go to WWE?
He does wrestle on a house show. A couple house shows. So, and FCW. So, yes.
So FCW is WWE.
So he does,
But what year is that?
2007. For the house shows and FCW.
So what does he do in 2006?
He's wrestling a lot in DSW. In
Deep South. So that's
South.
WWE.
That's WWE.
Yeah.
I didn't notice that. Now that I read the actual thing. Okay, so yeah. So he goes there and he starts wrestling there in February. Now, he does do technically 2 UWF TNA shows.
Okay. Which one? The one in January?
Correct. Both in January. Yeah. So, yeah, and then so then he goes to Deep South, which I've never seen Deep South written as DSW, so that threw me off, I guess. And he's just Siaki, I guess, right? Siaki and Alpha Jr., the Samoan Fight Club. And that's where, and then he works as Urban Assault with Eric Perez on 2 Raw House shows. Then he's with Ryan O'Reilly on SmackDown ECW house shows against Stevie Richards and Tommy Dreamer. And then he works as the Samoan Fight Club in FCW. He fights Harry Smith and TJ Wilson in one, and then Johnny Curtis and Robert Anthony in another. And then he wrestles for GCW a lot. This is not the same GCW that is popular today, I don't think.
No, it's like Pike, Georgia.
It is. And then he kind of wrestles for them quite a bit, and then he wrestles a little bit more for NWA Primetime sporadically. And then he fights one final match. In his final match, wow, what a last match for him. In January 2009 against Marty Jannetty, he lost by disqualification. He also, his second to last match, he lost to Buff Bagwell. Very interesting couple final opponents there, huh?
Yeah.
So, yeah, this is actually, I'm pretty disappointed about this, but yeah, we have seen the last of Sonny Siaki here in TNA. His final match was that Apollo and him teaming up against AMW, where Apollo had that bandana on. That we were like, oh, that's why he took the bottle shot.
Right. And then I think it's kind of really interesting that Siaki hasn't even popped up in the years after.
I know. Not even like a brief appearance of anything. Yeah.
Like, he wasn't even mentioned for like that TNA one-off show they were going to do.
Well, not even to make an appearance or nothing.
Right.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, but
maybe nobody can get a hold of him.
It could be.
I think, I feel like I remember hearing that he got like a federal job or something.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, this is disappointing. We're dropping like flies here in TNA. We've lost Jeff Hardy. Now we've lost Sonny Siaki. I don't even know what we're going to do with ourselves here.
Kaki Siaki was the best Siaki.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's not even a question.
And then he just wasn't, I don't know. He never got that chance to really break out, I think.
Yeah, I do. I think he kind of got the short end of the stick here, but
yeah. Once they put Desire with him, I think he was cooked.
I do think that was kind of the beginning of that, but you know what you do when you want to work with your wife.
Yep. Just ask BDP. Same thing happened to him.
That's right.
When he got saddled with Kimberly in 1999.
Cooked.
Down the shitter.
Well, anyways, that's our sad note to leave on. I have a couple interview notes we'll talk about during the show, but Bob, let's get into this episode of Impact. I'm freaking ready.
Let's do it. Let's do the December 17th, 2005 edition of Impact. The approximate runtime is 42 minutes, 42 seconds. If you want to watch along with us, head over to Impact Plus or find it in your own personal collection. I'm going to count down from 3, and when I say play, that is when we are going to start watching the show. So here we go. 3, 2, 1, play.
This is TNA. Now, Bob, there was an explosion match I'm going to tell you about here. It was taped on 12/13/2005, same day as this taping that we're watching. And it aired on December 23rd, 2005. And Austin Aries and Sanjay Dutt teamed up to defeat David Young and Elix Skipper, and Simon Diamond was ringside. As we're seeing highlights from the Barbed Wire Massacre at Turning Point. Also, an interesting note, Bob. The tapings for this, they did 2 tapings, 2 sessions on the same day. The first session was all Explosion matches for the next 4 episodes of Explosion. And then the second taping was the Impact matches. So the first session that had Explosion only had 250 people in the audience, and when they were doing the tapings for the Impact ones, they have a number of 800. So pretty different.
It looks like I don't have audio through my VLC. I can still see it and everything, but there's no audio coming through. So
really,
yeah. So I guess if there's any promos or something that we need to know about. I am not going to know what they're saying.
Okay. Remind me when we're off air, Bob, about the audio issues. Because, short version, I did something to like 5 episodes of Impact, and I can't preview them with audio. And I don't know why.
I don't know what that means.
I'll explain to you after.
Okay.
Boom, Impact. Here we go. This past Sunday at Turning Point.
Like, I can. You're fine. What am I?
It doesn't have the mute button clicked on accident.
No.
Little pyro action here to kick us off.
What kind of bullshit is this?
Mike TNA and Don West, ringside. TNA did it again. The face of TNA is going to be changing forever in 2006. And on the freaking cue, Jeff Jarrett's music sets. What's going on today? Wow, he's wearing quite the outfit here today. He's got a blazer on top of an unbuttoned white shirt on top of an orange tucked-in shirt into blue jeans.
Who is dressing this man?
Dude, this might be arguably his worst outfit yet. This is not. He sometimes looks like a star, dressed wicked good. This looks like he looks like a mess. All right, TNA. If TNA management wants a war, they're going to get a war. He's going to make a statement tonight, and as he's trying to get that out, Samoa Joe's music hits, so we're cutting him off. Here comes Samoa Joe with that nasty bloody towel. Still got that little blonde in his hair, but...
Not a fan of that blonde. Just reminding us what he... Daniel, stare down. They ain't teasing this shit already.
Dude, this is very, very interesting. Jarrett and Samoa Joe just stared down as they were walking past each other. Wow, that's really, really interesting.
That's weird.
Speaking of Samoa Joe, oh my God,
Hey,
hold on. He's
Jay
fighting
Lethal.
Jay Lethal, TNA debut here.
He's young as shit.
Dude, that's crazy. Look at him. Look how small he is compared to Samoa Joe here.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Samoa Joe apparently is among those unhappy with Sting making $500,000, and he's making significantly less. But he is not the only one wondering why there is so much money for Sting and so little money, apparently, for everyone else.
Okay. It's probably self-explanatory here, but okay.
We're going to be talking about that probably a little bit more, including next week. There's a Samoa Joe interview. We'll discuss that further.
Do they not realize it's because, you're not known, so you're not probably going to bring in money? I don't understand.
Yeah. I don't know. Also, I'll just tell you this now, because I don't know if we're going to see him on this show or not. But, so we saw the highlights from the Barbed Wire Massacre match. Abyss apparently needed 62 normal stitches and 20 butterfly stitches after the Barbed Wire Massacre match on Sunday.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Of course he did.
Well, he said, he goes, if you haven't seen Turning Point, or if you didn't, I know you want to see it again, you can go buy the replay.
No, I've never bought the replay of a show in my life. Ever. Dude,
Jay Lethal here is hitting quite the drop kicks on Samoa Joe. Goes for a cover. He's got two count.
These guys had a pretty lengthy feud in Ring of Honor.
Before this?
Yeah, in 2005.
Really?
Yeah, it was like kind of like a mentor protege type of thing, which Ring of Honor actually kind of did a lot in 2005. But
I like how much crossover that there is, where it's like, oh yeah, these guys just feuded in Ring of Honor and now they're wrestling in TNA, or like,
right. But in the TNA bubble, it's like Lethal's a nobody.
Right. But I also like it's like, oh yeah, Joe wrestled him in ROH, so maybe he helped him get this match here. Hey, I want to work with this guy.
I'm sure it did.
You know what I mean? I think that's cool. Same with like Roderick Strong, Austin Aries, like all that kind of stuff. I like that we're seeing people, indie guys, brought in because they trust Samoa Joe, they trust AJ Styles and Daniels. So there's the idea that they could have told them, hey, these guys are good, let's bring them in.
Yeah.
They're just talking about 8 or 9 stitches to sew up, I think, AJ Styles from the beatdown. Or maybe they're talking about Daniels. I missed the name exactly, but he's talking about both of them.
I'm surprised Lethal's survived this long.
I know.
I'm surprised that Dallas has survived this long with his yawning.
I was still drinking my coffee, man.
Did you see I mentioned you in my Instagram story or no?
I was going to ignore that. I wasn't even going to say anything about it because you're being a jerk. Nikita Koloff, who Dallas Gridley does not know who he is still. Coquina Clutch locked in after the Muscle Buster and Jay Lethal taps out.
I cracked myself up.
Yeah, dude, you're so funny, dude. Fucking idiot.
Oh no, work is calling me.
Okay, well, I'll carry the show. I can't wait to hear you that you.
I'm not answering it. I'm not answering it.
Good.
Nope, it's my day fucking off.
Good, I'm proud of you.
Day off, and they're calling me to tell me that there's nobody there, and I already know that there's nobody there.
Alex Shelley versus Matt Bentley tonight. Ooh, backstage, Ron Killings and Conan. Dude, you can you can tell in Conan's face the attitude change. Even Ron Killings. Nobody saw the ambush on Kip James coming. Why? I never trusted Kip James from the minute that he walked into this place. I knew he was up to something. You tried to play me, but you played yourself? He said he'd do it the same way if he was to do it again. I redirected the course of the inevitable. Oh, he almost just said motherfucker. He ain't family. And BG doesn't decide who's family. We decide who's family. Oh, Killings is now asking him why. So maybe Ron Killings is not quite on the side that we thought. You had a problem with BG, man? You talk to me about it, we get situated.
Right, did you think he was with Conan?
Kind of.
Oh, I didn't think that.
He said it's done. Stick a fork in it. Oh, he's tired of being lost. He's tired of being in the middle. I don't know if I can trust you. I don't know if I can trust BG. The only thing I can do is be done with it. He said he's done with it. And he's walking out. Conan said, he's my brother. I'm going to handle this. Oh, did we just see the end of Ron Killings? You just quit?
No, I think that's the end of, like, 3 Live Crew.
Here comes Alex Shelley with the tripod. I have a Conan note, too. There's once again significant talk about using wrestlers from Mexico, including the idea of a Team Mexico. The Mexico deal has been a political nightmare, though, partially due to Conan's past of both leaving both CMLL and AAA, and later AAA for Promo Azteca, and taking tons of top talent with him both times, leading to both CMLL and AAA to hate him. So apparently there's some issues.
Conan having heat? I can't believe it.
Here comes a Matt Bentley with Tracy. Come on, Bentley bounce. Holy crap, everyone's doing that, dude. There's so many people doing the Bentley bounce.
Yeah. Well, because they're forcing it. But
No. It's peanut butter Shelley time, dude.
Bentley just is not a baby. I don't know. He's just not
No,
a
he's a
baby
heel.
face.
He's such a heel.
And the dynamic with Tracy, I mean, the whole act just comes across like it should be a heel. He should be acting like the franchise Shane Douglas, and she can be the Francine. And then just go on from there.
TNA is talking about the most violent, most physical pay-per-view we've ever seen.
Until the next one.
He said he's been calling wrestling for so many years, and this might have been the worst he's ever seen. Goes for back suplex, lands on his feet. This arm drop kick by Bentley.
I like when he does the Shawn Michaels twirl.
Yeah. Bob, do you have any indie notes for us for this show?
No, I'm not doing any notes.
Oh.
I think it's a dropped gimmick.
What?
Yeah.
No, I like it.
I'm dropping it.
No.
Yeah, I didn't do it for Joe and Lethal.
I want to know.
Yeah.
Get out of here. People like our indie notes. It's part of our gimmick.
I dropped it.
Bob, you did not talk about this with me. Is this you're doing the Conan on me? You just hit me with a chair.
Bow, bow, wow, wow.
I want to know about our indie notes.
No, that's right. Heel kick there by Shelley.
What the heck?
Yeah.
Guys, this is real talk. Bob literally just hit me in the back with a chair.
Well, like, who cares? Okay, well, Jay Lethal beat fucking
But to be fair, Jay Lethal wasn't the one I cared about the notes for.
Samoa Joe defeated Paul London last week in Omaha, Nebraska.
Lance liked the indie notes.
Bullshit. Didn't even do it. Jeff Hardy was never on those.
He liked them though.
No, it's all right. It's a drop gimmick. Unless something of like major note happens, I don't think I'm gonna do them anymore.
What the heck?
Yeah, you know what? Maybe I just want to enjoy 2006 fucking TNA, motherfucker. Okay, instead of having to check every episode.
It takes 2 seconds
of what Christopher Daniels and Sting are doing on the Indies. Okay, don't care.
Christopher Daniels and Sting.
Yeah, I think Sting has one indie booking in like 2007 that I'm gonna have to fucking read, and I'm done. I've retired from indies.
Oh. Okay.
And literally the indies, ladies and gentlemen, in case you didn't really fucking notice, 80% of them is just Ring of Honor. So.
Oh my God, X Division needs to get.
Oh fuck I'm done. Okay. No,
it's Shannon Moore, the Prince of Punk.
I'm retiring.
Bob. Okay,
He has it punked like the TV show Dallas Punked.
Is that Don Harris?
Yeah.
Telling him to get down. Okay, this is crazy, Bob. I remember this happening.
You do.
There's a good chance I watched this episode because I remember this.
Your first distinct memory of TNA is Shannon fucking Moore?
No. My first distinct memory is Jeff Hardy coming out of a tunnel at some point. But I don't even know when that was, so.
Yeah, because like we've already passed this whole run now.
I know, and now I truly don't remember which one it was. I thought it was with a ladder, and he never walked out with a ladder, so.
Right. Like a flatliner there by Bentley. 1, 2? No. So yeah, He just said so. X Division needs to get punked. Now, Punked is like an MTV show where they would, prank celebrities.
Shelley just stole the pin from Bentley with a nice little cradle.
That's stupid. So does that mean that Shannon Moore is going to be pranking people?
No, he's the Prince of Punk.
Yeah, but the way that he has punked.
I think it's just to be edgy.
What? How's that edgy? Oh, Bentley's gonna fucking turn heel. That camera wasn't facing the ring.
No, it was earlier. Jarrett is going backstage. He's sick of mind games. Oh, AMW. TNA wants a war. They're gonna get it. You know where Monty's at. Oh, here's Gail Kim. Oh, remember what's been happening with her.
Jackie Gata,
He goes,
who has recently popped back up on the.
"Where the hell have you been?"
Who cares? Look at her fucking Lord. Man.
Oh, she wants to talk about Jackie Gata now. She's been gone while Jackie's been coming after Jarrett.
Gail Kim is the type of woman where if I was with her and she didn't come home for 3 months, I wouldn't ask any questions when she came home. I'd be, oh, hey, sweetie.
Well, Jarrett's been asking a lot of questions right now.
It'd be great. I'm just glad you're home.
I'm just glad you're home. What the fuck?
I don't care.
Wow, guys.
She could come back home 3 months pregnant, and I'd be like, oh my God, it's mine. And they'd be like, yep.
Bob, you're going to be glad to hear that the company will soon be debuting a radio show, which will actually be hosted by Brian Fritz and not Jeremy Borash, as you would have expected. They will be interviewing wrestlers on the shows, and they will be available via download or podcast. And we just saw a final resolution video for January 15th. Oh my God. Look at the stitches. Oh my God. I didn't think we were going to see him. We are seeing a visual of all 20 butterfly stitches in 62 stitches.
I think Shane Douglas has morphed into Scott Hudson. I mean, not having audio and just relying on visual right now, that slow camera turn into Shane, I thought it was Scott Hudson.
My God.
For a second. Yeah, it wasn't. I miss Scott Hudson.
So he's talking about people, Ravens, Rhinos, and people from the Serengeti being ranked above the monster Abyss.
Raven is ranked above Abyss.
I guess.
Okay.
Well, Rhino, those trials and tribulations that you faced are nothing compared to the hardship that Abyss has had to endure. He's coming to, he came after his deepest, darkest fear, barbed wire, of course. His kryptonite. Oh. He's talking about the world title. 6'8", 350-pound weapon of mass destruction. And I hold the detonator. And if anyone gets in the way, click. Doomsday. Click, click, doomsday, baby. Oh, who's walking in? Scott D'Amore. Oh, he's got a business proposal he's got to talk to him about. What in the world? Okay.
That's weird.
Up next, Rhino.
Business proposal for.
Any indie news for Rhino?
No. Crazy. You didn't have any bookings.
Oh, you actually looked?
No.
You are such a freaking jerk. I can't believe you.
What? Who cares? Do you really care? Does anybody honestly fucking care? Because I'm feeling like no one actually fucking cares. And that's why I stopped doing it. I didn't even look.
I care.
Bullshit.
I do.
All right, fine.
Joe Doering against Rhino.
Yeah, all right. Good. Okay, I'm
This
going
is
to go
kind of
down.
fun.
And fucking... Where
I like
at?
hearing the fun matches.
We're in December. Okay. Rhino had a booking today, December 17th, for EWP, excuse me.
Really?
In Hanover, Nischken, Dutchland, where he won the EWP World Heavyweight Championship when he defeated Thunder in round 9. Now, you're asking, who the hell's Thunder? I don't know. I click on his name, and he is known as Metal Death, Heavy Metal Thunder, and Darren Walsh from England.
Wow. Who would have known?
Yeah, well, now you know. Alex Shelley usually has some indie bookings here, so let me just go down. I don't even know who Rhino is fighting because my screen is now full of indie notes here. Who is this? Oh, it's Joe Doering. Okay, great. Alex Shelley had a couple of bookings as well from the previous match. He lost to Scott Loss at PWG's Astonishing Christmas on December 16th. And then also on December 17th, that final battle, Alex Shelley defeated Steve Corino. Now, I know what you guys are anticipating. I'll go do Samoa Joe. So hang on 1 minute, and then I'll get there. 2005, December. Okay, Samoa Joe defeated Davey Richards at that PWG show.
See?
And it's always just Ring of Honor and Pro Wrestling Guerrilla, for Christ's sakes. And then on December 17th, Samoa Joe competed at Final Battle in a four-corner survival where Jay Lethal defeated BJ Whitmore, Christopher Daniels, and Samoa Joe.
Oh my God.
Okay. So
Rhino has hit the gore and pinned Joe Doering. A lot happened in that match.
Right. And I got to miss it because I had to do indie notes.
You wouldn't have missed it if you didn't know it.
No, because I still would have fucking missed it.
Here we go. Gore.
Oh, here's the whole match right here. Great.
I mean, not really anything else happened.
Joe Doering kind of looked like Ryan Nemeth.
Ryan Nemeth. Yeah. The blonde.
Yeah.
Oh, we're going to hear from Rhino here.
Okay, I won't know what he's saying.
Cut off from me.
Last April when I threw a lamp at my ex-wife and got fired.
Oh, he just called Joe Doering a bitch.
Oh.
He just kicked your ass, bitch. Something like that. You got screwed there chanting to Rhino. Took you and a bunch of your little bitches to beat me at Turning Point. He's talking to Jarrett. You walked out the NWA champion.
Excuse me. I have a cough. So if I don't mute myself, I apologize. Now, if you're wondering about indie notes for the remainder of the show, I don't think there's any more, legit. Okay? So leave me alone. Let me just enjoy my life.
Okay.
Oh, fuck. Is there more? Hang on a minute. 12. No. No. Okay. We're good. I'm good.
He's talking about that fat little bastard, Coach D'Amore here.
Oh, okay. So we're going to do Abyss Rhino, and then that's going to be the plan. Yeah. Or deal, whatever.
He's going to cut him in half with a gore. The man beast.
Did Abyss get involved at the pay-per-view? No.
No, but D'Amore, and D'Amore needs backup. Okay, Jarrett is walking backstage now. There's diamonds in the rough. Can I have a second of your time, guys? I don't think there's a question here, but are you guys with me? They're like, of course. The wild card here, Monty Brown. Have you seen him? Nope. Okay, he wants to. If you see Monty Brown, tell him I want to talk to him before the end of the night. Oh, God. He's like, you guys got Team 3D tonight, right? And they're like, yeah. He goes, I want you to take care of him. Who's this? Is that Gil Kim again?
Yeah, sure.
Do you have time to talk now? Yeah, well, I've had a hard night. Can this not wait? It's going to have to wait. We'll talk later. I'm going to talk about it now. Wow. Hard-hitting stuff here. Jarrett's had a hard night, guys.
What's been so hard about it? He had a very brief conversation with Samoa Joe, so has that made it a very difficult evening? I don't get it. Sabisco. Now, I'm pretty proud of myself. I can now spell Sabisco's last name.
I saw you say this, and I can't.
Without having to look it up. Now, can I spell it verbally? No. But can I type it out? Yes. Because I've reviewed enough wrestling where I can just do it. But I can't sit here and tell you how I can spell it, but I can just spell it.
So, TNA, hold on. Can you say it again, please? Okay, so Raven, if he loses whatever the next match is, he's out of TNA.
Mm-hmm.
Bob, you'll be glad to hear that there was some talk at some point in 2006 to create some X Division tag team titles.
Christ. I mean, why? Why? Why?
I don't know, but I got a couple more things for you here. Look at this. We're getting the news articles, dude.
What is that? USA Today?
I actually missed this on our last episode. Not Turning Point, the one before that. Apparently, both of our TNA announcers, Don West and Mike Tenay, were on ESPN Classics last week. So or not last week now it's a couple weeks ago. On December 6th, Don West did a comedy role on Cheap Seats where the hosts go to someone's home and West shows up and does his wrestling hard sell from his prior experience on late night TV shopping shows and starts selling her furniture. And then Mike Tenay on December 7th was on a segment of Why Society Created Terrell Owens, basically tracing his behavior back to Gorgeous George with Tenay and the Destroyer talking about George.
Okay.
And I got one final note for you for today's show, as Team 30 is throwing diamonds in the rough around right now. Wait, let's see. And double team. Bob, do you remember the show Room Raiders?
I loved that show.
Well, according to the TNA site, Lance Hoyt will be appearing on an upcoming episode of Room Raiders.
Oh, Lord. Okay.
Yeah, baby.
I bet you that he's the guy going to be looking through girls' shit.
Yeah,
Guy
but then
seems
don't
like-
they also go in his room?
Yeah.
Bonus episode.
Yeah, they would. I love that. Was a good show.
Brother Ray is dressing in a t-shirt and not like cut off sleeves, and it's kind of throwing me off a little bit.
Is this like the worst shape he's ever been in his life?
It's got to be.
Like Devon's in the best shape of his life, and then Bubba's just like, you know what? I'm gonna be a t-shirt guy. And there's nothing wrong with t-shirt guy. I would be a t-shirt guy. But Bubba's just kind of giving up here.
Devon press slam skipper to the floor. That's nice.
Oh, that was not very graceful.
Okay, so I'm trying to look up Room Raiders here, but I did find, and we've talked about this before. He did appear on Eliminate,
Yes.
so we knew that.
Mm-hmm. TNA home video.
The three
Final
mega.
resolution against the odds of Destination X.
I'm not like finding good evidence that he was on Room Raiders.
I think you know what? I can just look it up right now.
You have the Room Raiders catalog?
Although if there was such a thing, I would definitely have it.
We're back from commercial now.
Doing some on-the-air research. Because I know that Paramount Plus
Okay, that's what I was thinking. I was thinking maybe it's on there.
would have some Room Raiders because they have some
Simon
other
Diamond
trash
swept the
shows.
foot of Brother Ray. Oh, Skipper with a stiff kick to Brother Ray. His brother Devon tries to get into the ring.
Oh man, do they not have Room Raiders on here? This is bullshit if they don't have MTV Room fucking Raiders, dude. Where are we? Are you kidding me? They don't got it on here?
Wow. Probably because they didn't want to put people finding dildos on the show where there's also you can watch Cat Dog.
I mean, that's fair, but like, what
Hold
the
on,
fuck?
hold on. Look, who's that?
Who is that?
That was
I
one
didn't-
of the Hebner brothers. That's definitely Dave.
That's got to be Dave. That's definitely Dave.
What the fuck?
Why is Dave Hebner here?
He's taking
What are we
notes.
doing? What is going on?
Was that Dave or Earl Hebner?
That's
it was
definitely Dave.
It's
That's
clearly
Dave.
Dave.
That's Dave. Oh, why are they asking? Like, which one was it?
Yeah, Tanae's like, which one was it?
Okay. Yeah,
Why is
that's
he here? We saw
definitely-
Shannon Moore earlier, and now one of the Hebner brothers.
Next. Yeah, dude, Room Raiders isn't even on this fucking app. What is the point?
Which one was Chris Sabin on?
Oh, was that MTV one?
I thought so. Was that Next? Was he on Next? Oh, wait, no. We already knew that. The Unmade.
Yeah, he was unmade. This is so disappointing. That the one show, Room Raiders, maybe the best show in the world, and it's not even on Paramount Plus. Like, why do I even have it? Why do I, like, they don't even have Figure It Out on here.
Okay, he might have only been Unmade.
I thought he was on a dating thing too.
So did I, but we might be thinking of. We might have heard the rumor that he was supposed to be on Eliminate, and then it was White instead.
Maybe.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah,
I think we should watch that Eliminate episode as a bonus.
Well, it's out there, isn't it?
Yeah, you can get it. I just saw it. It might be a bonus episode, guys. We'll talk about it.
So there's a few
Full
episodes.
Nelson bomb, dude. The Bubba bomb.
There's a few episodes of Room Raiders on YouTube, but I don't think we're gonna get lucky here and have Lance Hoyt on there.
Yeah. I mean, if we have to watch a couple to find out if he's on, I guess it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world, but
If you're gonna twist our arms, okay, we'll do it.
we'll find him, guys. We'll watch some episodes of Room Raiders to find him.
Oh well.
Brother Devon is in the ring, clearing house. Goes right after David Young. Irish whip countered by David Young. Here comes Devon, comes back with the shoulder block. Oh, my brother, testify. Neck breaker on Elig Skipper. Guys, if you're watching along, we are 33 minutes and 12 seconds into today's show.
Spine busted 1, 2. No, Skipper breaks it up.
Irish whip clothesline. Devon takes out Skipper. Okay, I don't know what that was supposed to be, but he took him out.
That was supposed to be a leaping shoulder block, but Young didn't turn around.
Yeah, I didn't really like that one. Skipper's out of the ring now. Oh my god, reverse suplex neckbreaker combo.
Yeah, but then everybody in the crowd is chanting or be yelling 3D, even though it's not the 3 freaking D. It happens every freaking match.
Almost Simon Diamond holding Brother Devon, and boom, Skipper accidentally hits Diamond because Devon moved out of the way, and now you know what time it is. 3D. Oh no, what?
No,
Doomsday device.
What rush?
Devon is no-selling David Young's punches, which is pretty funny. Here we go. 3D on David Young. I feel like he's taken this many times. And that's right. Team 3D get the win. Who would have thought?
Who would have thought? Hit figures.
The Morphoplex move of the night here, Bob. There it is. Boom. 3D. Look out, look out, look out. Look out, look out, look out. Another one in the win column for Team 3D. Now, guys, Jarrett is going to start a war here within the next 10 minutes, 9 minutes we have left. Jarrett is in the back with a Team Canada. Gail Kim is there. Oh, he says Scott Moore says he did talk to Monty Brown. So he's in the building. Yeah. And you told him, I want to talk to him tonight. Absolutely. And what did he say? Honestly, champ, I think he likes me about as much as he likes you. He said if I didn't get my little fat out of his face, something about a pound. Period.
Is he just eating a bread roll right now? Like a croissant?
Possibly. So Gail Kim's there filing her nails. Jarrett turns to her and goes, "What's wrong?" She goes, "Nothing." He goes, "Gail, what's wrong?" She's just filing her nails. Nothing.
Yeah, well, the whole show she's been wanting to yell at you, and then now it's nothing. So that makes
Check this out, dude. Look at all these celebs. Oh, Jarrett's wearing the same outfit he wore to the video game awards.
Yeah.
Literally, it's the same exact outfit. You won't believe who Jarrett bumped into backstage, guys. The Rock just made.
Dude, The Rock is coming to TNA, dude.
He just made his TNA debut here on screen at the Video Game Awards.
Jeff Jarrett at an award show is probably the least cool guy you could ever have.
I do think he wore the outfit on purpose at the tapings, to be like the same thing he wore at the award show. But I think that's like, oh, he didn't wash his clothes before. He's wearing dirty clothes. James Mitchell's wearing. Why is James Mitchell wearing blue now? And backstage he was wearing red. And Abyss has his arms taped up now, and backstage they were not taped up.
Well, because they have doctors. They can tape shit up.
They were already stitched.
You want an open fucking wound out there? No.
Okay, yeah, can you explain the wardrobe change by James Mitchell for me?
Well, you don't want to be seen on camera in the same outfit.
It's
twice.
the same exact show. Look at this group of people. We have America's Most Wanted, Abyss, all of Team Canada, and Jeff Jarrett, and Gail Kim, and Scott
Jarrett.
And Father James Mitchell. Sting. Stang. Guys, that was a straw that broke the camel's back, and now TNA management. You want a war? And now you're going to get a war. We're going to find out who's with us and against us. Scott, I love you like a brother. But I need you to admit publicly, are you with me or against me? Look, champ, if controversy in Canada shows you one thing, that's that you got me on your side. So once again, he helped Raven lose the title to Jarrett in Canada. AMW, I love you guys like brothers. We're like brothers. I love that James Storm has the title on backwards, by the way. Are you with me or against me? Only James Storm shook his hand, just saying. I think Harris is going to turn on Jeff Jarrett.
That seems like a bit of a...
Abyss, I'm talking directly to you. You've given more to TNA management, more to the fan than anybody on the roster. What do you have to show for it? Absolutely nothing.
You got scars on your forearms.
Are you with me or against me, Abyss? Mitchell's whispering to him. Like, are you going to do it or...
I think he just asked him, are you...
Oh, he nodded. He nodded.
I think he's going to choke him. Oh.
James Mitchell is the one who shook his hand. That means Abyss and Chris Harris are going to team up and turn on Jeff Jarrett. Jarrett is calling out the alpha male, and here comes the music. That's the missing piece of the puzzle. Is the alpha male with him or against him? Oh, here he comes. Here comes the former NFL linebacker.
What side did he come out of?
I think that's the heel side. Yeah, I think. Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So yeah, he is. So he's joining them then.
Now, interesting. Look at this. They've separated the ring. So AMW and Team Canada and Jarrett on one side, and Abyss is on the other side. Oh, okay. They're fixing themselves. I thought we were getting some foreshadowing. Jeff Jarrett. The Serengeti is not a wildlife refuge. The Serengeti is not a nature preserve. The Serengeti is a place that's meant for the alpha male. It's a place for the alpha male to not be limited by TNA management. Let the alpha male loose, he yells to TNA management. I heard what you had to say out here. And you stepped your dress game up. That's good. Because remember, he made fun of his white pants recently.
Mm-hmm.
Or actually, well, Christian did, and he made fun of his. But anyways. Okay, he called him a liar, but he said, what you've said so far does hold some merit. But what you have said makes some sense. The alpha male lives by 3 rules. Rule 1, kill or be killed. Hunt or be hunted. And
He's
3,
gonna fucking join.
Survival of the fittest. If the war lines have been drawn, and this is really the battle. Then Jeff Jarrett. Oh, the alpha male is all in. And Jarrett puts his hand out. Alpha male does not shake it right away. If he says he's all in, he should just go for it, right? There we go. Shakes it. They hug. Bait and switch. Oh. Lights are out. I hear the music. I love this song, by the way. Like, a lot. So we got the flashing lights. Everyone in the ring is, like, freaking out. Wait a second. Team 3D, Christian Cage and Rhino. And, of course, there's things not there, but I think we know where the war line is drawn. Bob, are we not leading to a lethal lockdown match in April or what?
There's no way.
What do you mean there's no way?
There's no way. Okay. If that is your core 4 babyface group, that's weak as shit.
Well, who else would you put in it?
AJ?
He's in the X division.
Anybody other than fucking Team 3D?
Well, okay, and we go off the air. Bob, what did you think of that episode of Impact?
That's fine. I'll give it a thumbs up.
I liked it. I thought it was good. I actually thought that promo there at the end was pretty good, so I thought that was fun. Wow. Okay. Well, we got the tease of Sting, and as we know, we're probably getting teased for another 4 episodes before we see him.
At least.
And I'm sure they're all going to be with Jarrett in the ring freaking out because the music's playing. But I hope there'll be a little bit more mind games than that. But I guess we will see in due time. Bob, I guess we covered a lot on this episode, so I don't really have much else to say. How about you?
I don't either. Hopefully I can figure out my audio for the next episode. That way I can actually hear what they're saying.
I hope you can too. We'll just close the player and it'll work.
That would be incredibly frustrating if that's all it takes. But I guess
I almost told you to do it during the show, but then if it didn't work, you would have. Who knows what would happen? So we were just going to keep going.
I just would have been like, what? I would have just said, where are you at, like time wise? I wouldn't have gotten mad.
Well, I'm hoping that it'll work on our next episode, which is the December 24th edition of Impact. It's the holiday season.
Christmas.
For those, it's happy holidays, Bob.
Merry Christmas.
And not everyone celebrates Christmas, so happy holidays.
Yeah, but I do. And guess what? I only care about me.
Okay.
Well,
wow.
If you don't celebrate the same thing as I do,
stop.
Don't care.
Stop it. Bob's in a don't care mood, and I just tell everyone, I have to see this dude in about an hour and a half, and if he's in this kind of mood today, it's going to be a long day.
Yeah, and what's going to really suck for Dallas is, like, I got to probably tell him that we can only do this one episode right now because I got to do some stuff, and I didn't realize that Austin was coming right at fucking 1.
Yeah, I think we'll talk off air about that, and we should probably close out the show before we figure out our actual plan for today.
Yeah, all right. And I'm kidding about the holiday, just Merry Christmas thing. Okay, it's a fucking joke. I don't want my DMs to get flooded, even though they don't. So, until next week, for Dallas Gridley, I am Matt Bentley and Rhino, and this has been the TNA Cross the Line podcast.
Oh,